Hi everyone, and welcome to this third video about how to create clothes for The Sims 4. Today we are going through the deep of the process by using Blender and Sims 4 Studio. So before starting, just follow me to download the tools that we will need. First of all, go to blender.org, this URL. I will put all the link in the description as usual. So go to Blender site, go to download and previous versions. In previous versions you have a link for download. And there you will want to take two versions. First of all, the versions 2.78 and after that the version 2.70. So download these two versions, follow the instruction of the Blender site, and after that you will need Sims 4 Studio. So just type Sims 4 Studio. Go to the first link, downloading and installing Sims 4 Studio. Download Sims 4 Studio and there just follow the instruction. You will just have to click on this link and you will have the download section. After the download of Sims 4 Studio, just be sure to open your tool and in the tool go to settings and just put there your creator name, the path of Sims 4, the path of the document, so there is where you have your mods, your screenshots, your save, etc. and the path of Blender 2.78. Just do that. That's okay. So now we are going to show the basics of Blender and after that to start the tutorial. Welcome to Blender 2.78. Before starting the tutorial, I will explain you the basics of the software, so if you already know it, just skip this part of the video. So first thing first, click everywhere but in the menu, so maybe there. You always start Blender with a cube. We always delete it to start creating our mesh, but now we will use it to the basics. So first of all, to zoom in and zoom out in the space, just use the mouse wheel. Just like that. To rotate inside the space, just hit the mouse wheel and rotate your mouse. Move your mouse by hitting the mouse wheel. And to move from the right to the left and from the top to the bottom, just hit Shift and the mouse wheel and move your mouse. So zoom in, zoom out, rotate and move your camera. Okay. So you see a cube. And on the right panel you can see that you have your cube that is selected there. That is the list of your objects in the scene. If you zoom out you can see the light point there, the camera there. We will not use those two for the tutorial, but just know that every new Blender file comes with those three objects. Okay, so just select your cube and we are going to see the three main commands, the three main shortcuts in Blender. First of all, if you want to move your object in the space, just hit G. G and move your mouse, like that. You don't need to click, just hit G and move your mouse. To place it where you want, just click. To rotate your object, hit R and rotate by moving your mouse. When you're okay with your rotation, just click. Okay? And to scale your object, make it bigger or smaller, just hit S and move your mouse. And click when you're happy with the size. So that's the three first command: G for grab, R for rotate, and S for scale. When you hit one of those three commands, you can hit three other commands. Just look. If you hit G for grab, you can ask for Blender to move your cube along one of the three axes. So you are your cube. Before validating its position, just hit Z and see that you only can move your cube along the Z axis. So it's the same for the three axes. So you can hit G and after that X, and it moves along the X axis. The same for Y. G and Y. Okay. Just like that. You can do the same for the rotation, R and Z, and it only rotates along the Z axis, and same for the scaling, scale and Z. So those commands are the really base of Blender. If you want to edit further an object, that is, you have to switch to another mode. Your modes are there. The basic one is object mode, when you can interact with every object of your scene and make small modifications of placement, of rotation and of scaling. So that's object mode. After that, you can go to edit mode if you want to make more detailed modification of one specific object. So hit edit mode and then you have your cube, but now you can see three types of components of your cube. Those components, we already saw them in Marvelous Designer. They are, first, if you click there, you can select the points. Those points are vertices. Those vertices are created by connecting edges. If you click on this second icon, you can now select edges. And those edges and vertices together, connected, create faces that you can select by hitting this third icon. Every 3D object is created in space by the combination of those three items: the vertices, the edges, and the faces. Now that you know that, you have to know another thing. that you can modify those items, so vertices, edges and faces, with the three commands that we have seen just before. So the G to grab, the R to rotate and the S for scale. So if I hit this face, if I click on this face and that I hit S, I can scale it. So now I can make more detailed modification with this edit mode, because the scale doesn't apply to all my object, but only on a selected part. So I can still apply modification of scale, and I can rotate it. And as in object mode, I can choose to rotate it only along the Z-axis by hitting Z. I can select multiple vertices or edges or faces as I want by clicking on a vertices, clicking on Shift, hitting Shift, sorry, clicking on a second vertices, maybe a third, I don't know. And after that, I can apply modification to those three that are selected. Maybe I will stretch them. Okay, so if I stretch, you can see that only my three vertices stretch, not the last one. I can click on this one, hit G, and move it if I want, along the X-axis. So, to start this tutorial, you have to know those things. The three shortcuts, G, R, and S, the name of the three axes, and the difference between object mode and edit mode. We will see the other modes, but you don't have to know them before. We will also use some of those icons on the right, and each time I will explain you what it does. Another thing, you can have multiple views in Blender. If you spot those stripped areas there, you have a cross when you put your mouse on it. Just click and drag your mouse and it will create another view. And on this view, you can select another mode or another view, and we will use that, but we will only use one of the different views. We will only use the UV view during the process, so that I will explain it during the tutorial. So it's done for the basics, and now we will start the real tutorial. So the first thing we will want to do in Blender is to delete what we will not use. So first of all, click on your cube, hit X and hit delete. Do the same for the lamp, delete, and do the same for the camera, hit delete. If you cannot reach them, click directly on the object on the right panel, X, delete. So now you have a plain space, empty plain space. In this space, you want to import your lowpoly.obj that we exported from Marvelous Designer. So just go to File, Import, and wavefront.obj. There you just select your low poly OBJ and hit import. And now you have your beautiful dress in Blender. It's the same that in Marvelous Designer. So it's perfect. And we want to import another thing in Blender. We want to import our body mesh. So I will put the link in the description as usual, but choose either the Electronic Arts body if you choose it in Marvelous Designer, or blue body mesh if you choose it in Marvelous Designer. Just be sure to use the same body mesh in Marvelous Designer and in Blender. To import it, just go to File and Append. We will, with Append, import an object from a Blender file. Why do I want to do that? That's because by importing a point OBJ, as in Marvelous Designer, I would not import the UV mapping of the body, the weight of the body, etc. So I need all this information to not have to work a second time on the body. I just want to work those difficult things on my low poly mesh. So just go to your Blender file and Object, and there you will find your object. It's blue body mesh v2 for my body mesh. If you use the EA1, you will have themes for studio. I don't know exactly the name, but something like that. Just don't select those files, just select the other. So take that one, append from library, and bam, you have your body. So it's good. It's not a problem if your dress is keep going inside the body. We will work on that just after. So you have your dress. If you click on it, you can see on the right that low poly is selected. You have your body. If you click on it, you can see on the right that your body is selected. We will not use bone shape, but keep the rig, that is the skeleton of your body. We will use it after. First of all, save your file by hitting Ctrl and S. Save your file. I used to keep the untitled name. I know that's my Blender file, but if you want, give it another name. So save it. If you go on your body mesh, if you click on it, and that you click on this icon, that's the object data linked to the object that is selected, you will see some information. We will see those after, that's the weight that we will use later, and you can see those informations. The body mesh of Electronic Arts has two UVs. What is a UV? A UV, I will show you in the same time. The UV is a 2D view of your 3D object. Look. you can see your 3D object as a plain one. So the electronic art body mesh, and our clothes will need that also. The electronic art body mesh has two UVs. The first one dedicated to texturing, so UV 0, and another one, UV 1, that is used by the game when you change the morph of your sim, when you use the sliders to make it bigger or stronger, etc. It tells the game what will be attached to what. So those two UVs, we will have to create them for our dress. In this part in Blender, we will create the two, but we will not use the UV 0 for this time. We will use it in the part 2 of Blender when coming to texture. So, just for starting, click on your dress. Be sure that low poly there is selected. Be sure to be in this icon and double click on UV map. Double click on it and type UV _ 0. Hit enter, and after that click on the plus, double click and type UV _ 1. So now you have your two UV map. They are not configured, they are not usable at this time, but they exist. Okay. Just how I created my second view. I said it in the tutorial, but I can say it another time. Just click there and drag to the left, and after that click to the view icon and click on UV/image editor. Okay, so that's the first point we had to do. Now, what I like to make after that, you will see that it's a different process when you watch one tutorial from one creator and one from another. You will always find the different step, but not every time in the same order. That's not a problem. So now what I want to do first, I want to close my dress. Why should I close my dress, and what does that mean? First of all, click on your dress, be sure that low poly is selected, and go to edit mode. You can also hit the tab button to switch from object to edit mode. You have to know that when you import a clothes in game, you import it with the body. And to keep a lot of places for the textures and to keep to prevent your mesh to be too large, you have to delete as many parts of the body as you can. So everything that will be hid by your dress should be deleted. So how to do that? First of all, you want to close your dress. You want to close it at the sleeves, you want to close it at the top of the shirt, and you want to close it at the bottom of the skirt. So after that, you will be able to delete everything, every part of the body that's under the dress. So first maybe rearrange a little bit your blender to have more space to work with. Keep the UV on the side, it can be useful. And click on this little plus there. And just to allow you to zoom in without going through the body, just add a 0 before the 1 in the start clipping field. Okay, so that will allow you to zoom in and zoom out. Perfect. So, how to close our sleeves? First you want to be sure that Vertex Select is pressed. That's the case for me. Select one vertices and hit Alt and click on a second one of the sleeve. You will see that all your points are selected. Why does it work like that? That's because 3D models are composed by loops. Loops are a bunch of edges that turn around your model and connect it together. So to close a loop, just wait. I will hide the blue body mesh just by clicking the eye on the right. Okay. So to close this loop, just hit E. Okay. E for extrude. Extrude that will create new faces around your loop. And after that, S to scale the new faces to the center. Perfect, and click. Now you have closed your sleeve. I told you that the UV 0 there allow you to place your textures at the end of the process. Those faces there, this loop of faces, are new faces, and I want them to be textured as well. So I want to create for them a special space in the UV map. So I want to go to shading/UV just before, to select like I did, just click on the face icon, click on the first one, and after hit Alt and click. It will select the round of faces. Click on Unwrap and Unwrap. There you have all your faces. Hit A by having your cursor in the UV map, and hit S to scale it, because at this moment I will not use the UV map, but I don't want to have things to superpose. If I select everything in the 3D view by hitting A, you will see that a lot of the place is already occupied by the other parts, the other pattern that we created in Marvelous Designer. So I will just put my new UVs there to don't overlap them. Okay, so now I need to do the same for the right sleeve. So I used the Edge select, but you can use the Vertex select. Hit the Edge, Alt, click, and you see that everything is selected. And E for extrude, and S for scale to the center. Okay. A shortcut to select every faces is to hit Control and plus. And after that, unwrap. With your mouse in the UV map, hit A and S to scale. And move it, maybe there. Just, you have to remember the places of everything to not overlap. That's all. Now, the top of the shirt, we will do the same. Select an edge, Alt, click, right, all the loop is selected. So E to extrude, S, and to the center. But just one thing, that maybe it will not be beautiful there, because all the edges are not at the same height. So in game, we don't want to see that part. So maybe we want to grab it with G and put it down by hitting Z for the Z axis and just gently put it down. Not too much, but like that is good. So now hit Control plus, it select every faces and wrap. With your mouse in the UV place, hit A, S, G to grab and put it maybe there. Good. That's good. Just check. Okay. Now we want to do the same with the skirt. So click, Alt, E, S, and as for the top of the shirt, just G, Z to keep it a little bit to the top. Maybe like that. It's good. Control plus, unwrap, unwrap, A, S, G, and put it maybe there. Think about saving at save every time. Just Control S. The most you save, the safe you are. Okay, so there you can just hit A to select everything, and you can see that you have your closing part there. In this closing work, there is two more things that we want to do. Remember in Marvelous Designer when I told you about the flipping horizontally and the two sides, the light one and the darker one. That's because, remember, the face facing the outside of the body will be seen in the game and not the one facing the inside. So in game, if I put my camera like this, I will not see that. I will only see this face from the outside. The same for there. So I could duplicate those faces to allow the camera to view it by switching their viewing side. We call that the normals, but it would be adding too much vertices to my mesh, so maybe I prefer to close all this around the body. So how to do that? I will select an edge, hit Alt, but let's select also my suspenders, and I don't want that. My suspenders, I want to double them to create more realism. So just select manually the edges you want to close. You don't have to make it exactly like mine, but I think that like that is good. It's good. Maybe not there. I don't really know. So it's good like that. Okay. So just select the edges of your dress and we will close it inside our shirt. Make it around. Okay, like that. I think everything is selected. Maybe there I could go like that. Okay, so now I can go inside my dress to better see what I do. Okay, and hit E for extrude and S for scale. By doing that, I can look if I forgot any edge. No, it's good. Everything is connected. So it's good. It's good, and now the dress is closed. I just want to take the central loop a little bit to the bottom. G and Z. Okay. It's better. So we barely don't see the closing loop. Oh, there a little bit. G, Z. Okay, just play with G and Z. It's good. It's good. Now, all this part that is enclosed, the suspenders, I want to give an impression of solidity to them. So I want to duplicate them, basically. So I will select everything. To select one faces to another faces through connected faces, just like that, you can select the first one, hit Shift and Control, yep, and hit the next one. You can do that to select every faces of the suspenders. To select faces, another time, I just clicked on face select before. Okay, so I just have to be sure that I selected just the faces after the closing there, and the same for the other side. Okay, Control and Shift each time. Perfect. Perfect. To deselect a faces, I don't want this one to be selected, just hit Shift and click on it. It's perfect. So to solidify this one, I have to separate the suspenders from the dress. So just hit P and selection. P will allow you to separate your object in many objects. So, okay. So now in edition mode of your dress, you cannot interact with your suspenders because that's another object, so we will have to go back in object mode and edit mode to the suspenders to edit them. But before that, maybe you noticed it, but I forgot something. I just forgot to unwrap this part, the closing part of the dress at the inside the shirt. So I can do it if I forgot just after, it's not a problem. Just click on any face, hit Alt and click. It selects all your loop. Verify that anything more is selected, it's good. And just unwrap. Perfect. So if you select everything, you will see that in your UV, always the UV 0, sorry, always the UV 0, you have all your parts. So those two are overlapping, so I need to select by faces, that's this icon in the UV map, and hit L. L allow you to select all one pattern at the time. Okay, so click on it, hit L, G to grab it and place it. Okay, perfect. So now we will just quit the edit mode for the dress and go to edit the suspenders. So just go to object mode or tab and select your suspenders that are now a different object. You can see it there. And I just want to apply a modifier on it. Blender proposes you some actions that can allow you to work quicker. That's modifiers. That's actions that Blender do for you. So you can select your suspenders, click on this, I don't know the name in English, but this icon, this tool, add modifier, and there you just want to select Solidify. Look what it does. And there you just want to play with the thickness of it, because it don't have any advantage to solidify if it does the same effect than closing inside the body. I don't want that, it's not beautiful. So just lower the thickness, maybe to 3. I often make 3 or 2. 2 is pretty good. For me it's good. So hit apply. Now if you go to edit mode, by hitting tab, you can see that Blender created for you just a lot of faces to have suspenders that are no more plain, but with thickness. So it's perfect. Now you want to join back your dress with the suspenders, so click on your dress, hit Shift, click on your suspenders and hit G. That's good. That's good. Just you will want to work a little bit on those vertices that are not connected. And that's all, because all the other things are good. So maybe you just want to connect those vertices with the edges. So to do that, you have this function. That's the snapping. You can click on it and select maybe edge or vertex. That will force, when you will grab a vertex or an edge, etc., so that will force it to snap to the vertex that you select, or to the edge. I will select edge. So G, and that you can see that my vertex follow the edge. So it's good. That's what I want. Maybe I want it to go like that. And the same for the central one, and the same for this one. Perfect. I want to do the same in the other side. G, and it follows. G, and it follows. Perfect. Okay, that's good for me. Now we are going to discover Sims 4 Studio. Sims 4 Studio is a tool that allows you to create package for importing your creation into the Sims 4, or to export objects, clauses, etc. from the Sims 4. What we want to do with the Sims 4 Studio? We want to export a dress that looks like our dress. So we will transfer the UV1 map from this model to our model, and the same for the weight and the vertex color. So go to Create 3D Mesh and click CAS. Now you can order the objects by gender, so select woman, by age, so adult, by type, so I don't... Vêtements corps in French, it's overall, I think, in English, full outfit maybe. And there you will find the models. The number of the models depend of the packs, the kits you installed. So you have maybe more, maybe less than me, because I don't have every expansion pack from The Sims. So now I will search. Maybe I will just order by base game, so I will have the same as yours. And now I just want to find a model that look a little bit like ours. So maybe this one would be great. I think this one is cool. It's okay. So just select one, click next. You have to save the package file. That's the file that is usable in the Sims. So this one, save it because you have to, but it's not we will not use it. So just save it as package to remember. You can delete it after. So just zoom in. So for me it's good. It will be good with our mesh. It's almost the same shape. So I will explain you how Sims 4 Studio works, but at the end of our process. Just notice that there you have the texture of the object, and there you have the mesh of your object. That's where we will import our Blender at the end of the process, our Blender file. So now we will export our mesh. So click Export and save it as reference. Hit save. Just wait. And at the end of waiting, we are good and we can go back to Blender. We are back in Blender 2.78 with our mesh as we let it. So just go to File. Oh, sorry. You have to go back in Object mode first. Go to File, Append, and just take the reference that we just saved from Sims 4 Studio. So click on the file, and there you have many folders. Go to Object, and there you will have one or more. There, this is for Sims 4 Studio Mesh. You have to import every Sims 4 Studio _mesh that you will find, and click on Append from library. Perfect. So this is our object, our reference object. So just hit Shift and select every part of it. Put your cursor inside the 3D view and hit Ctrl G. You can see in the right, that you have only one object now. So you joined every part of the object. We don't see it very good at the moment, so maybe you want to change its color. So just go to type of active data to display and edit. Yeah, that's where you can enable or disable some materials for an object. Click on this one and remove the select material. Now you can add a new one there and double hit this white field. And now just change the color. Maybe, I don't know, but you have to see it good. So it's awful, but I see it. Perfect. I want to transfer the properties of this object to my object. So to make it smoother, I want to go to edit mode. So by this way or by tab, And I want to have as many points, as many vertices as possible to smooth the transfer. So go to edit mode, be sure that everything is selected. If it's not, hit A, and after that hit W. You will want to hit subdivide smooth 1 time, 2 times, and at 2 times, if you see that your computer is okay, maybe you can do it 3 times. Only if your computer is okay. So now you see that you have a lot of vertices. That's a high poly mesh. It's perfect. Go back to object mode. So now you have more vertices to transfer data from. What I want to go back to select my low poly one, so my mesh. Be sure that you have created the UV0 and the UV1, and now I want to create the UV1. Just before creating it, you can reselect your reference object and select the UV1, hit tab to go to edit mode, and take a look at the UV1. Okay, so there are the arm and the end. There are two. There are the legs. And the torso is there. So that's a special UV that is used by the Sims to, when you change the morph of your Sims with sliders to make a bigger, slimmer, stronger, weaker Sim, and to say to the to tell to the game which vertices will follow which one. Okay, so we want our mesh to have a UV like that. So hit tab to go back to object mode, select your low poly, and now we want to add a modifier. So this icon, add modifier, and select data transfer. If you don't find data transfer, that's because you are not running the good version of Blender. Be sure that you use 2.78. So hit data transfer, and there you will select your source object. That will be your Sims 4 Studio mesh, because that's our reference. After that, hit face corner data and click on UV, because that's what we want to transfer. And there select UV1 and UV1. So we want to transfer the UV1 from our reference to our low poly mesh. Okay, so you can apply. Now you can go to your low poly object and be sure that UV1 is selected. Hit tab to go in edit mode, hit A to select all, and take a look. So it's pretty good. Maybe, no, it's good, we have and it's good. This has to be as clean as possible. So we will test in game, and if it doesn't follow correctly the body, maybe you will want to move some points. Maybe this one should be there, this one should be there, to have something really clean. But for the first try, it's smooth. I'm okay with it. That's a process that can be time consuming. So try with the first transfer, and if in game you have some problem, try the transfer with another reference, or try to rearrange some points. But for the moment it's cool. It's okay. Maybe there, try to rearrange the points. You can move the point as in the 3D view by hitting G. Okay, so it's good. It's good. Perfect. Now that we have done that, you will just save. Control S, and you will quit this version of Blender to open the 2.70 version. We are back in Blender, this time on the 2.70A. Be careful to open the good version, and we open our file. So first of all, we want to transfer the vertex paint of our mesh. The vertex paint, that's a color code that will help the game to know if this part of your dress is this part of your clothes is stitched to the bones, or if, as in a dress, as a breast area, or in the skirt, that's more free to move. So what we want to do is to click on our reference mesh, go to vertex paint, and now we want to sample a color, and you will sample a color in the skirt area. After that, just go to your low poly object, go to vertex paint, and go to paint and set vertex colors. Perfect. Now your low poly should be green in your screen. If your low poly is green, it's okay. If not, redo the process. After that, you want to go to weight paint, and you want to first select your Sims 4 Studio mesh. Respect that order, it's important. First, select your Sims 4 Studio mesh, hit Shift, and select your low poly. Okay, so at this point your low poly should be blue, or maybe another color, but it's often blue, and no change to your S4 Studio mesh. You want to transfer the weight. The weight is the pressure that is applied to certain part of your clothes, a function of the bone that is next to this part of the clothes. You can see the the bones with the black dots that are the black dots of our rig, so the skeleton of our body, and we want to have some high weight in the hips for this bone, for example, or for this side, high weight there for this bone. And every bone will have some weight that will allow the clothes to move with your body. So there you just want to hit transfer weight. When I will hit that, I want you to look at this panel, the vertex groups. It will add a lot of line. So hit transfer weight, and in the method hit nearest vertex. Perfect. If it worked, you will see a lot of line there. To test if it's worked, just hide your Sims 4 Studio Mesh by clicking on the eye in the right panel. And now start clicking, maybe the end it doesn't have really sense, but on the shoulder, perfect. In the clavicle, okay. You can see that the weight are put in the good place. The neck, in the breast area. Perfect. So it's good. For this version of Blender, you can save. We are all good. We are now back in Blender 2.78. Open another time your mesh. It's not a problem if your mesh is not smooth like that. We will get rid of that after by joining it with the body. So you can show back your body. And we want to test our weight transfer by playing with the skeleton. So to do that, just go on your body and modifier and just look this information. You see that your body is rig to the rig 0.001. That means that when this rig 0.001, that's the skeleton, when this rig moves, your body will move with it. So to test in Blender, we just want to rig our low poly the same way. So just click on low poly, be sure to be in this icon, add modifier, select armature, and there select rig 0.001. Don't apply the rig, that's all. Don't apply, sorry. So now to test, you can click on rig 001 and go there to pose mode. In pose mode, you will be able to select one bone and play with it. How to play with it? It's really simple. If you want to move the bone, hit G. If you want to rotate the bone, hit R. And you can rotate it along the axis as we saw it before. So, for example, hit R and He, hi Greg. I don't know how to say this letter in English. And you can rotate it, and you can see that the weight is perfectly transferred because your sleeves follow the bone. You can try with your leg, and with your leg you can see that you have a problem there, because when you go up with your leg, it goes through your dress. So we have a little bit of work to do before importing in-game. I will try with the other one. Okay, so we have a little bit of problem there, but not a big problem. To repose in the start position, just hit A to select every bones, go on pause, clear transform, and all. So now you are back in rest pose. I just want to see in the front RX. Okay, so we have a problem there. What I see is that the bone of my leg is too hard there. So when I rotate, this part of my clothes should not go inside the body. So I need to remove a little bit of weight there, and maybe there, maybe there. Okay, so Control A, clear transform, all, and just before to do that, I want to stretch a little bit my dress, because at this time it goes inside my body, and that's not a weight problem, that's just a size problem. So just select your low poly dress, be sure that it's selected, go to sculpt mode. That's the only sculpting that we will do in Blender, the only one. All the sculpting we will do will be in ZBrush. So select the grab brush that allow you to stretch something. So select it, play with the radius, okay, and be sure that you have the X mirror checked, so you will edit the two sides, as our dress is pretty symmetrical. It's good. So maybe a little more, and be gentle by doing that. Just click and stretch it a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, always be patient while doing this work, because you can lose a lot of time if you do bad moves. Perfect. Just stretch it a little bit. You don't want your clothes to be too close to the body, to be sure in game after. Maybe there. Yeah, I want to stretch it a little bit there. Not too much. Perfect. For the sleeve, you can do the same. Don't look at those parts. The part that are inside the dress, it will not be a problem because we will delete every part of the body that will be inside the dress. So just be careful at the end of the sleeves, the end of the skirt. So maybe just grab there a little bit. For the other side, with the mirror, it's okay. And there too. Perfect. I think that's a really relaxing step for me. I love doing this meticulous work. Okay, it's good. It's really good. Perfect. You can go back to object mode. So we will test without being bothered. So select the rig and rotate it along the x-axis. Okay, something like that, and spot where it starts to be a problem. So there, I think. There you can see that it goes inside. Maybe you can change the color of your dress to better see the problem, because gray and on gray. So go into material, type of active data to display and edit, delete all the material for your low poly, add a new one, and maybe make it, don't know, green or no, pink. Good. So that's the problem we want to resolve. There and there. So click on your low poly one, go on white paint, and there we are going to make a little bit of arrangement. To do that, first of all, that's a question of habit. So I will not lie at the start. That's a step that will take you a lot of time, and after you will understand why, when looking, what is the bone that is the problem. But at the start it will be a little bit difficult. Continue and start and restart until it works, and you will see that it will be easier and easier every time you will do it. So I know that often on this area that are 3 bones that may be the problem. Those 3 are the pelvis and the tight twist, so the right tight twist and the left tight twist. So just search on the list to find. So there you have the pelvis and the L tight twist and the R tight twist. So find the bones, and I always start with the pelvis. Often when it's a problem in this area, that's because of the pelvis that has too much weight. I know that because I correct it each time, maybe each time. So go to pelvis, and to correct the weight, you will spot a bunch of brushes. I use only 3. The add brushes to add weight, the subtract to remove, and the blur to smooth the weight. Often I use the blur one after using the add and the subtract one. If I add a little bit too more, I subtract a little bit too more. After, the blur is useful. Now I want to subtract some weight. So maybe I want to do it gentle, so not too much weight, a little radius, and there I just want to remove weight. Okay, perfect. So that was the pelvis. I knew it. So there maybe I want to blur it a little bit. Okay, and subtract. Perfect. There also I want to subtract. Don't hesitate to subtract a little bit more because we are not in the sit position, so your leg have to move. Okay, so subtract, blur. It's good. Go back to object mode. Select your 2 bones. Rotate X and rotate more. And look at the result. It's good. Pretty good. Just this is not a problem. We will delete the body, but there that's still a problem. So select your dress, go back to weight paint, select pelvis and subtract. Perfect. For me it's good. I think that it will be I still have a problem there, but I will delete this part of the body, so no problem. No problem. I still have to check on the high axis, but for the x-axis is good. So Rx, I go back in this position. R, E, and there I have a problem. And the same on the other side. So remember the pelvis, because it often is the problem. You have often a problem with the pelvis. So remember it, and remember to take your time at this step. So there, go to pelvis and delete. Maybe blow a little bit to have something smooth. And the same for the other side. And blow. Perfect. So normally I will test the other one, but Okay, so go back by clear transform all, select all with A, clear transform all, go back to the initial position, object mode, save, and now we just want to join our low poly with our body, Ctrl G, and the end of this tutorial day will be to delete the inside of our body. So no, maybe don't join. I don't need to join now. Control Z. Okay. Sorry, I didn't need to join. So just Control Z. Not too much because you don't want to erase the modification of the weight. Okay, just select your body, hit Tab to go to edit mode, and now you want to delete everything that's inside the dress, that's covered by the dress. It's really simple, and I think it's a pleasant activity for me. What you want to do, you want to select the face tool and you want to delete every face that isn't in direct contact with your mesh. Something like that. Just, we are in the inside of the sleeve. If you cannot go inside the sleeve, be sure that you have this value there. Just start clipping at 0.010. So select some circles like that and hit X and delete faces. Good. So do that at every extremity. So around the neck, around the sleeves, and around the skirt. Do that in the four parts. I will do that in speed motion and just go back to you after. At the end of your process, you can zoom on your UV, select all in the 3D view, select all of your body, go on your UV, and on your UV select by face. And you should spot some areas that are no more linked with the rest of the body. If you delete good, you should see 3 areas like that. Select on the main and hit L. If you did a good job by separating your parts, just it all, and what could be separate will light up. In the same for the top of the sleeves, of the arm. If it does not light up like that, just go back to your body and be sure to delete every point in circle to separate the part that we will keep and the part that we will delete. Once it's good for you, just click on Keep UV and Edit Mode Mesh Selection in Sync. Okay. And there you will see that what you select on your UV map is also selected in the 3D view. If you click on the main detached Iceland, you can hit L to select everything. If you have an error at this point, that's because you are not in face select. Be sure to be in face select. If you are not, Blender doesn't accept the L selection. So select with L and check that nothing is yellow outside the dress. If nothing is yellow outside the dress, just hit X and delete faces. Do the same for the top of the arm. X faces. And now we have our dress that is UV1 unwrapped, Vertex paint, reached, weight transferred, and our body mesh that is prepared. That's all for today. We have done a lot of work, so bravo. And in the next tutorial, we will work on the UV0 to position every part of the dress for the texturing process, and we will work with our eye poly in ZBrush. And I don't know that we will continue in Substance Painter because that will be a lot of work. I think that Substance Painter will be the video after. So thank you for listening to me, and good job if you succeed to the end of the tutorial. If it's not perfect, that's not a problem. Just retry some steps before and it will be okay. And have a good day and see you to the next video. Bye bye.